And good evening. On this Friday night, we start with Wall Street reeling from one of its worst days in decades. All three major indices falling by more than 2%. Look at this, the Dow dropping more than 900 points. Tonight's slide coming at the end of a troubling month, the S&P dropping 10% since the start of April, making it the worst month since the start of the pandemic. The NASDAQ plummeting even further, down 13%, marking the worst month for the tech-focused index since the Great Recession in 2008. And a dreadful day for Amazon, a major factor driving the NASDAQ's poor showing. Amazon shares down 14%. That's its worst day since 2006. Jeff Bezos alone losing $13 billion. That's a whole lot of worst. Here to break down what's going on and leading off top story tonight, CNBC senior economics reporter Steve Leisman. Steve, I want to start out with this quote from former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers. I'm sure you're familiar with it, but I want our viewers to see it. He said, if you look at history, there's never been a moment when inflation was above 4% and unemployment was below 5% when we did not have a recession within the next 2 years. Unemployment in March, to remind our viewers, was at 3.5%. What are you seeing in these inflation numbers, and should Americans be worried about a recession that is around the corner?
I think a recession, the probability of recession is definitely higher than it had been before. We have this situation where Federal Reserve interest rate policy, fiscal policy, all of the money that was given out to Americans for the pandemic, both in the Trump and the Biden administrations, has really jazzed up this economy. And you have all these supply side issues that were bad before the war with Ukraine, and now they've gotten worse. And somehow the Fed has to not navigate its way out of this, and a lot of times it doesn't do that good a job. Now, I will say we have a couple things going for us. We have the rebound of the economy from Omicron. So yeah, we haven't necessarily gotten out of that pickle that Larry Summers described before, but also we haven't come out of a pandemic before. So there's some possibility this ends up okay. I think it's something that if there is a recession, is something to worry about for later this year or next year. Right now, the economic numbers are not too bad.
Steve, I like that you're positive, but I do want to push back a little bit. We had the breaking news yesterday about the economy shrinking 1.4% in the first 3 months of 2022. How should people interpret that?
Well, I like that you're pushing back, too, and I'll just tell you this. That 1.4% was not the beginning of the recession that people fear, and I'll tell you why. We have the consumer doing well. Consumer spending was up 2.7%. That's pretty good. Business spending was up 9.2%. Why did we go negative? Because we imported a whole lot of stuff from all over the world. Remember, we've been in this pandemic, and it's like suddenly the gates are open for goods and sometimes they're closed, and you have trade going up and down like this. When we bring in a whole lot of goods, it ends up being something you subtract from the top line of GDP. So the stuff that mattered in that report, that was all good. You had this big influx of foreign goods into the country to meet demand. So really, a lot of economists looked at that number and said, you know what, I'm not worried about it. You look under the hood, the economy still seems to be doing well, and the forecasts so far for the second quarter are pretty robust. From a minus 1.4%. They're looking for 3% plus in this quarter that we're in right now. So there's concern about a recession. It is not misplaced concern, but that number yesterday was not the beginning of it.
Stock market, Wall Street, it's not the entire economy, but the stocks have had a very rough week, really a rough year so far. Valuations were very, very high during the pandemic, so at some point we had to come back to reality. I know a lot of people on Wall Street and really on Main Street are going to be looking to hear what Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell says next week. What do you expect to hear from the Fed?
So the Fed is about to embark on one of the steepest increases of interest rates that it has in almost its history. The Fed has found itself behind the curve of inflation. It thought earlier this year that the spark we had in inflation was going to go away. Well, as most Americans know, it did not. And so the Fed was at zero interest rates. And now what it's going to do is it already raised by 0.25%. Next week it's going to raise by 0.5%. It hasn't done that since 2002, and that won't be the first 0.5% increase. We're going to probably do 3 or 4 of those in a row. From zero, the Fed is going to be probably by the summer around 2%. So the Fed is going to try to slow down this economy. The way to think about it is think of a jockey on top of a horse holding back on the reins and trying to get this 3-year-old thoroughbred to slow slow down a little bit and try to reduce inflation. And getting back to where we started this conversation,
Steve, you think they're moving too fast?
That's the concern that Larry Summers has.
Do you think they're moving too fast?
Well, we'll see. It's a good question. They're behind the curve. They have to get to a place what they call neutral. They want to be in a place where they're not stimulating the economy or holding it back, and then they want to look at what inflation is doing. They're hoping for a little bit of help from the idea that the pandemic fiscal spending that goosed the economy, that's running off. They're hoping these supply chains unclog, and that they get a little help from inflation from that way. Plus, you put a little bit of interest rate restraint on the economy, and then they can get inflation under control. But they have one mission right now, and they're going to start that next week in earnest, which is trying to raise interest rates to slow down the economy. And that's the concern that Summers has, that could lead us to recession.
Steve, finally, one of the mysteries of this economy, and people ask me all the time, and I never have a great answer for them. They ask me, how do we have historic unemployment? And then you try to go anywhere in America, and there's a long line because there's just not enough people to work whatever business it is. And I talked to a lot of people who own small businesses, whether it's a restaurant or a dental clinic, and they just can't find people.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, it's actually the answer. The reason why it's hard to explain is because it's actually really complicated. A couple things happened. You had an increase of the pace of retirement that was linked to the pandemic. People who were close, 62, 63, they said, you know what, we're going to retire now rather than waiting for 65. That's one. You had a decrease of immigration, legal immigration, that began under President Trump before the pandemic. It was brought to a halt during the pandemic, and then it just sort of slowly trickling back now. There are places where there are, massive loss of legal immigrants doing jobs. That's two. Three is that you still had some people who were afraid and concerned of going back to work because of the pandemic. And then you also had a lot of people who had a lot of money and got a lot of savings from the pandemic, and they decided to wait till they looked for work. So you had a decline in the labor force from all these different factors. And it's a little unclear if we're going to get back to where we were with the labor force. There are 11 million jobs open right now. And I'm sorry, getting back to where we started with Larry Summers, that's why some people don't think we're going to have a recession, because there's all of this strength, underlying strength in the economy and the jobs market. And if that remains, it may be difficult. We probably will not have a recession. We'll have an increase in the unemployment rate, but not to recessionary levels.
Steve Leisman with that comprehensive look at the state of the economy right now. Steve, we thank you for that. From the markets, we turn now to the severe storm threat, with 27 million in the Midwest potentially impacted by severe weather tonight and tomorrow, with more danger in the forecast. NBC News meteorologist Bill Cairns making his top story in studio debut. Bill, a chunk of the country is going to have a very rough weekend.
It's going to be a sleepless night. I mean, this is one of those nights that tornado sirens will be going off in major American cities potentially, and people gathering their kids and going to their safe rooms. We get this situation similar to this probably about maybe a half a dozen times every spring, and it's nerve-wracking, especially once we get towards dark, when the storm chasers can't give us that big heads up when they know a tornado is on the ground. So here's the area of greatest concern. We have from Nebraska, central Kansas, including the Manhattan to Topeka area, all the way down to Emporia to Wichita, then into Oklahoma, from Tulsa to Oklahoma City. So a huge swath of the Central Plains. And these tornado watches go out till about midnight. And I'm sure these will be extended into Missouri, including Kansas City, Springfield, and down towards Fort Smith, Arkansas later on tonight, probably during the overnight hours. The strongest storms I'm watching currently are just crossing Interstate 70. It looks like they're just barely going to miss Manhattan, Kansas. That's where the University of Kansas State is located. And large hail with these storms, not tornadoes. We've already had at least 2 confirmed tornadoes in Nebraska. They were out over the open farm fields like we like them. No damage yet. But as we go through the evening, you do not want to be in this red bullseye. That's what we call a moderate risk of severe weather. That means we're going to have a more concentrated area of severe storms from Topeka to Manhattan all the way through Nebraska. This is the greatest chance of a tornado, and even a strong tornado, as we go from about now till about 2 a.m. And then that line of storms will be a wind damage threat through areas like Kansas City and then towards Ottawa. So tomorrow we continue this threat. It doesn't look to be as strong or as intense as what we're going to deal with the rest of tonight, but from Chicago all the way down through Illinois and Indiana, that's the area at risk and the greatest concern. And also, we have evacuations in place in New Mexico, Tom. We have extreme fire danger concerns in areas of New Mexico, with a couple fires already burning. And back to the severe weather threat. Yeah. They have said for one of the first times ever, we could have 4-inch hail with some of these storms tonight. That's softballs falling from the sky.
4-inch hail. All right, Bill Cairns, we appreciate that. We know the weather team will be busy this weekend. We want to turn overseas now to Ukraine, where an American has died while fighting alongside Ukrainian forces. The 22-year-old former Marine working for a private military contractor, he leaves behind a wife and an infant son. Kelly Kobiea has more on that heartbreaking toll this war is taking and the relentless Russian attacks.
After more than 2 months of war and countless Ukrainians killed in battle, tonight we've learned an American is now among the dead. 22-year-old ex-Marine Willie Joseph Cancel died Monday, his family said, but where and how, still unclear. His family telling CNN Cancel was working for a private military contractor. He believed in what Ukraine was fighting for, his mother said. He was married with a 7-month-old son. Tonight, a senior U.S. defense official says the Russians are making slow and uneven progress and are likely a few days behind schedule in their effort to take control of the east. In Mariupol, city officials posting this video, they say, of Russian forces under fire near the steel plant, where Ukrainian soldiers and civilians have been holed up. The families of those inside pleading for international help.
Is this the price we need to pay for our freedom and independence? Many dead people, kids.
The war taking a heartbreaking toll. This funeral for a 24-year-old Ukrainian soldier killed near Kharkiv.
Tell me about Vladimir. Who was he?
He was a wonderful person, his friend said. He helped everyone. And in Donetsk, this grandmother lost her 14-year-old grandson when a Russian rocket hit their home. I wish I had died and he had survived. I lived much more than him. I will never forgive myself for it, she says. In Kyiv, they're clearing the rubble after that deadly Russian missile strike yesterday. Russia says it was targeting a defense plant. NBC's Aaron McLaughlin is there.
One of the missiles struck this factory, what Ukrainian officials believe was the intended target. The other struck this apartment building, the victim's car parked right outside.
Tonight, Kyiv's mayor says the Russian strike was a middle finger to the UN, coming just an hour after a visit by the Secretary General. NATO's Deputy Secretary General said the next few days and weeks could be decisive, but he also warned that this war could last months, even years. Tom? Years.
All right, Kelly Kobiea for us. Back here at home to Washington, where the Biden administration faces growing pressure to address the surge at the border. Biden speaking with Mexico's president today as 170,000 migrants are now waiting in Mexico, and officials say more could arrive if Biden lifts that COVID-related border policy known as Title 42. Guad Venegas has the latest.
With a court battle underway to lift Title 42 in a matter of weeks, soldiers at the U.S.-Mexico border set up new fences and barbed wire. Earlier this week, a federal judge issuing a temporary restraining order that would prevent the Biden administration from lifting the Trump-era border policy next month.
We had proposed to eliminate that policy by the end of May. The court has said we can't so far, and what the court says we're going to do. The court could come along and say we cannot do that. And that's it.
Today, President Joe Biden speaking with Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador for nearly an hour about ways to reduce the unprecedented number of crossings at the border. López Obrador releasing this photo taken during the call.
The majority of the conversation was about migration and was about continued work on coordination, on economic coordination.
It comes amid growing pressure from some Democratic lawmakers calling for the end of Title 42.
This unconscionable, racist, and xenophobic Trump-era policy was in effect for too long.
The answer to our broken patchwork of outdated immigration laws in America is not Title 42. It is to pass humane and just immigration reforms.
U.S. officials telling NBC News 170,000 migrants are now waiting in Mexico and could arrive at the southern border as soon as the restrictions are lifted. This week, Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas telling members of Congress the problem at the border requires action from legislators.
We inherited a broken and dismantled system that is already under strain. It is not built to manage the current levels and types of migratory flows. Only Congress can fix this.
As the debate continues, and officials at the border prepare for the arrival of new migrants making their way north.
All right, Guad Venegas joins us now live from Los Angeles. Guad, I'm curious about that call between our president and the president of Mexico. I know you have some new reporting on what they spoke about.
Right, Tom. So the Mexican government released more details about the call. They mentioned that both presidents talked about creating more jobs in places like Central America. They also discussed how to keep the migrants safe when they're traveling. And another very important point, they talked about creating more legal ways or legal options for the migrants. Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador has it in the past. He would like to see more work visas for migrants that intend to come to the United States and eventually work in the country. Also, the details shared today say that the Mexican president is looking forward to the Summit of the Americas. That's taking place here in Los Angeles in June, and that's where President Biden will host heads of state from all across Latin America. Tom?
Guad Venegas with a lot of new reporting for us tonight. Guad, we thank you for that. And ahead of the midterms, immigration is not the only issue in the minds of lawmakers. Tonight, Oklahoma passing a bill banning abortions after 6 weeks. It's the latest effort from a Republican-led state to challenge Roe v. Wade as the Supreme Court prepares to hear arguments on Mississippi's abortion ban. Here's NBC's Stephanie Gosk.
As early as 6 weeks, that's when a heartbeat can be detected. After that, the state of Oklahoma says abortions are banned, except in medical emergencies or pregnancies resulting from rape or incest. The new law allows private citizens to sue doctors and anyone else who facilitates the procedures.
We're very excited, and it means a lot to the state of Oklahoma.
Earlier this month, a bill was passed outlawing abortion altogether, with few exceptions.
The law that the governor signed last month is effectively saying to the Supreme Court, overturn Roe v. Wade, right?
It's more complicated than just say overturn Roe v. Wade. I feel certain we all would like to see that happen. We do want to see the genocide of unborn babies ended in America.
But that law won't go into effect until August, and this new ban is immediate as soon as it's signed. The Oklahoma Heartbeat Act is identical to a Texas bill passed last fall, forcing many women seeking abortion across state lines to Oklahoma, where there are only 4 clinics.
We had a tremendous increase in volume of patients.
Andrea Gallegos runs one of the clinics, which will have to start turning women away.
This Oklahoma law not only impacts Oklahoma women, but it impacts women from surrounding states as well.
So in some cases, they may not just have to pass one state border. It may be 2 or even 3.
Correct. Yes.
In addition to Texas and Oklahoma, there are 10 states that have passed so-called heartbeat bans, but the laws are blocked or have failed to hold up in court. The landscape could change dramatically with an upcoming Supreme Court decision, which will decide if Mississippi's abortion ban after 15 weeks is constitutional, the most direct challenge to Roe v. Wade in 30 years.
The Supreme Court will decide whether or not to uphold the Mississippi law, but attorneys for the state have also asked the justices to overturn Roe v. Wade altogether. That landmark decision marks its 50th anniversary early next year. Tom?
Stephanie, thank you for that. Next up, the hepatitis outbreak in children has potentially turned deadly, with a suspected victim in Wisconsin. Illnesses continue to increase as health officials now report that roughly 10% of cases have led to liver transplants in generally healthy children. Emily Aketa breaks down what the CDC is saying about this mystery illness.
Tonight, the mysterious outbreak of severe hepatitis in children could be to blame for a death in Wisconsin. At least 9 states now with suspected or confirmed cases of liver inflammation among kids.
These are children who previously have been fit and well. So this is sort of an unusual phenomena that we're seeing.
The typical causes have been ruled out, including the hepatitis B virus, which is what most children are vaccinated against. Stephanie Cunha is among those who want answers after her otherwise healthy 3-year-old rapidly went into liver failure last summer. One possible theory for the global spread is adenovirus, something all 9 of Alabama's hepatitis patients tested positive for.
It was really unusual, and it was kind of scary, too.
The CDC detailing the Alabama infections in a report today. All were age 6 and under. 3 patients developed acute liver failure, and vomiting, diarrhea, and fever were among the most common initial symptoms.
How should parents know the difference between a bug and potentially hepatitis?
Specific signs for liver injury really is things like jaundice, things like severe abdominal pain, things like changes of the urine and of the stool.
All right, Emily joins us now live on set. And Emily, you were just telling me there could be a tie-in to the pandemic with this?
Yeah, so first I will say, it seems highly unlikely that it's really tied into COVID infection itself or the vaccine, because if you're taking a look at the data out of Alabama, none of the 9 hepatitis patients there were vaccinated and none of them were infected by COVID. However, health officials are looking into whether lockdowns could have played a role with young kids really less exposed to common infections throughout the pandemic.
Yeah, their immune systems. Okay, Emily, we appreciate that. Thank you for that. Still ahead tonight, the shocking arrest of an American Idol winner. Country singer Lane Hardy booked into a Louisiana jail late today, what he allegedly put in his ex-girlfriend's dorm room. Plus, high-potency pot health officials sounding the alarm about cannabis products with an extra high level of THC, why these products are particularly dangerous for teens. And the shocking scene on a California highway, Good Samaritans rushing in to save an officer who had been shot. That dramatic confrontation next. Top story, just getting started. All right, we're back now with some wild video out of San Diego. A police officer bleeding on the side of a highway in California after a struggle with a suspect caused the officer's gun to go off. But everyday citizens became heroes, stopping to help the officer, making sure he made it out alive. Rahema Ellis has more.
Tonight, a California Highway Patrol officer is lucky to be alive because of what you're seeing in this video. Chaos in the middle of an 8-lane freeway in San Diego. You see California Highway Patrol officer Antonio Pacheco on the ground, bleeding. He's surrounded by numerous drivers who pulled over to not only help him, but take down the man who allegedly attacked him.
Without the public, this may have a different outcome.
What started as an accident inspection quickly escalated. Officer Pacheco, a 7-year veteran of the Highway Patrol, arrived at the site on Interstate 8, meeting Yu-Hao Du, who had crashed and was pulled over at the median.
At that time, a struggle ensued, at which time Mr. Du attempted to take the officer's firearm from him.
CHP says that during the struggle, the gun went off, hitting the officer in the right leg. By this point, other drivers started noticing.
While I was driving, my husband, he said, stop, stop, stop.
Lila and her husband among the first on the scene.
I tried to slow down, and he just opened the door, and he jumped out of the car.
I didn't think 2 times to go and help him.
Some called for help, others tried to stop the bleeding as quickly as possible.
Let's see if they have a tourniquet in that car.
One person pulled over their truck, creating a barricade between traffic and the injured officer. Then a bit of street justice. Some of those Good Samaritans cornered the suspect. You see Floriberto holding down the suspect, another man helping restrain him using a knife.
He was out of control. He was, when I hold him, he was super aggressive, not aggressive, strong.
The suspect, 25-year-old Yu-Hao Du, is in custody and is charged with attempted first-degree murder, assaulting a peace officer, great bodily injury, and taking a firearm from a peace officer, according to CHP. He's in custody, not eligible for bail. Efforts to reach Du were unsuccessful. Thanks to the quick thinking and immediate action taken by everyday people, Officer Pacheco was taken to a local hospital, and police say he's expected to make a full recovery.
They're out there every day, risking their life. And in seconds, it can end.
Rahema Ellis, NBC News.
All right, we thank Rahema for that. Next up, as cannabis legalization passed the House and is poised to go to the Senate, public health experts are raising alarms about a new and much more powerful generation of marijuana products, and they come with a dire warning aimed at teens. Steve Patterson has this story.
With more than 7,000 dispensaries nationwide, the $20 billion marijuana industry is growing so fast, some state regulators say it's even outpacing alcohol sales. The cannabis choices are growing too, with new products like wax or shatter now available. They're sold in fruity flavors and have levels of THC, the compound in marijuana that makes you high, that can be 8 times higher than the pot of 20 years ago, according to state regulators. And that's made some Colorado parents like Sydney Block and Janet Corneal terrified.
It was scary. She was slurring her words. She wouldn't wake up.
Sydney smoked weed when she was younger and says she couldn't believe her daughter Jasmine's reaction was from marijuana.
I was like, there's no way that this is just weed.
Janet said she didn't know what her son Will was using.
I had no idea, I'll be honest with you.
Their teens, 18-year-old Will and 19-year-old Jasmine, were both taking marijuana concentrates, using what's called dabbing to get high.
And when I was first really getting into high-potency THC, I don't think I ever had to pay money for it.
You just got it handed to you.
Yes.
I can't be a coherent, functioning human being when I was under the influence of all the stuff I was using, predominantly high concentrate THC.
Dabbers use blowtorches to heat up rigs, or they vape the concentrated wax or shatter.
One dab could be equivalent to smoking an entire bowl.
These pot concentrates, with flavors like Fruit Frenzy, are legal for adults in Colorado, but not for kids under 21.
It did get to the point where it was like, if I don't smoke weed today, like, I'm not doing anything.
I couldn't wake up. I couldn't go to sleep. I couldn't do anything without it. Got so dependent.
Will and Jasmine found support at a Denver public high school called 5280 that's designed for kids in recovery.
The amount of THC that's coming into their system is causing severe psychiatric symptoms such as suicidality and even psychotic breaks.
New state data shows the sale of these high THC products in Colorado has increased by over 150% since 2016. The federal government says THC concentrates are more likely to produce anxiety, agitation, paranoia, and psychosis. Today, Will and Jasmine are both sober and have some advice for the cannabis industry.
Rather than putting so much time and effort into making more and more and more potent things until we have 100% THC or whatever, I think that it is possible to spend more time and effort into looking into how to protect our youth.
All right, Steve Patterson joins us now live from Los Angeles. Steve, it's sort of shocking to think that we're hearing about these two teens' experience, and we're also talking about the drug of marijuana. What are these cannabis companies doing to make sure that they don't make these drugs too powerful?
So the Cannabis Industry Association sent us a statement saying, in part, the best way to address these concerns is through proper testing and labeling, as well as ensuring cannabis products are sold to fully informed adults through licensed facilities that are required by law to verify legal age. But Tom, state regulators in places like Washington and Colorado, they wish they could take it just one step further by considering putting potency caps on certain products. Obviously, the industry not happy about that.
Steve, it is so ironic that it's more powerful even though it's being more regulated. Great story. Thank you for telling us that. Coming up, the Uber shooting, a passenger opening fire from the back seat, the wounded driver seen on surveillance camera as his cars rolled down the street. The urgent manhunt for that passenger now underway. Stay with us. All right, we are back now with Top Stories newsfeed, and we begin tonight with an attempted Uber-jacking caught on camera. Surveillance video showing an alleged shooter fleeing from the scene after he pulled out a gun and shot his Uber driver from the back seat. The driver seen limping down the sidewalk, his car rolling away. He is expected to recover. Police are still searching for that suspect, though. Uber says they have already banned the man from the app. I would hope so. An American Idol is behind bars tonight, charged with secretly recording his ex-girlfriend in her LSU dorm. Season 17 winner, you may recognize him, Lane Hardy, charged with planting a listening device to monitor his ex conversations after their February breakup. The country singer posting on Facebook before his arrest that he was cooperating with LSU police. He is not currently a student at the school. Okay. Major League Baseball handing down its longest ever suspension for violating its domestic violence policy. LA Dodgers pitcher Trevor Bauer suspended for 2 full seasons, one of the harshest penalties ever imposed on an active player. Bauer has been accused of sexual assault by a San Diego woman, allegations he strongly denies. The embattled star says he will appeal the decision. We turn now to a city clouded in toxic smoke, New Delhi, India, fighting a landfill fire 17 stories high. Priscilla Thompson has that story.
Engulfed in flames and shrouded in smoke, the city of Delhi entering day 4 of a massive blaze. Firefighters are working desperately to contain the flames in the northern part of the city as residents there struggle to breathe. The fire began Tuesday at a landfill, which is about the size of 50 football fields and filled with a trash heap more than 17 stories high. No deaths or injuries have been reported from the fire itself, but the air quality in Delhi is now classified as very poor, leaving some residents on edge.
यहाँ आदमी बीमार पड़ते हैं इसके धुआं के चक्कर में आग लगते हैं धुआं फैलते हैं पूरा फैल जाता है पूरे अभी देखो पूरी कॉलोनी यहाँ सब बुराड़ी तक पूरा धुआं भरा हुआ है पूरी दिल्ली में इसके धुआं.
India is among the countries with the worst air quality in the world, largely from car and industrial pollution. In 2019, more than 1.6 million Indians died because of air pollution, a study by Boston College found. Breathing the bad air can lead to lung and heart disease, among other issues. Fires only making the situation worse.
Fire outbreaks generates a huge amount of gases, obnoxious gases, which are toxic in nature, and this can have short-term and long-term health impacts, including cancer.
This is the fourth landfill fire in Delhi in the past month. The piles of garbage produce methane when they rot. That gas, coupled with a historic heat wave, has sparked fires. Those heat waves expected to become more brutal as the world continues to grapple with climate change, with the potential for an unending cycle of heat waves leading to fires and more air pollution. Already this year, the heat wave has impacted the country's critical wheat harvest, with temperatures in farming regions hitting almost 120 degrees. No word yet on what caused this fire, but the state has ordered the North Delhi municipality fined for negligence and failing to prevent the blaze. Some experts now calling for a more sustainable way of taking out the trash.
If we are not properly managing our waste, we'll not be having space to live. We'll not be having fresh air to breathe. And that's what is happening currently, and we have to have, sustainable waste management practices in our country.
All right, Priscilla joins us now in studio. Priscilla, those pictures are wild. You mentioned in the story that the state has fined the local government, but what else are they doing to prevent catastrophes like this?
Yeah, that's a great question, Tom, because this is the fourth landfill fire in Delhi in the past month.
Wow.
So far from an isolated incident. And the state environment minister in Delhi announced this week that they are planning to study a system used in Mumbai that actually captures the methane gas from that rotting garbage before it's able to mix with the heat and cause these devastating fires.
It's incredible how big it is. All right, Priscilla, thank you for that. When we come back, the airport scare. A chaotic scene in Tel Aviv, travelers running for cover while one family's idea of a souvenir was to blame. Stay with us. All right, we are back now with Top Stories Global Watch, and we start with the violent police clashes breaking out in Colombia. Protests marking the one-year anniversary of demonstrations against the country's president, Ivan Duque. The demonstrators throwing rocks at police. Authorities, you can see here, responding with tear gas and water cannons. 3 officers injured in the protest. 13 arrests were made. And a fleet of electric buses have been pulled off the streets of Paris after 2 of them caught on fire. Take a look at this video. It shows one of the buses in flames early this morning. The bus immediately evacuated. No injuries reported. The company that manufactures those vehicles is investigating the cause of these spontaneous fires. And tourists looking to take home a souvenir causing panic at an Israeli airport. This chaotic scene unfolding at the Ben Gurion Airport in Tel Aviv after an American family showed up with an unexploded shell in their bag. One of the children reportedly finding the bomb while touring Israel, hoping to bring it back to the U.S. At least one person injured trying to evacuate. And thank you for watching Top Story all week. I'm Tom Llamas in New York. Stay right there. More news on the way.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.